again, my name's Zolna. You know, I posted a number of videos this morning. One in particular titled, Ask Congress to Stop Pissing Up the Wrong Tree. That's the title of the video. I want to relate some of the comments that have been made. It hasn't been up very long, but some of these I think are worth distributing to the masses. One viewer wrote, I drive a truck for a living, and every other person I see on the road has a phone in their hands. I've yet to see one person with a gun. Another viewer wrote, most everywhere you go in public nowadays, the majority of the people you see are absorbed with their quote-unquote devices. You know, I went to this restaurant to have breakfast, and this good-looking couple sitting opposite each other, they were both like this. Now they're facing each other, but they're both into their phones. And I commented to them. I said, why don't you put the phone down and talk to each other? And they just sort of laughed, and I moved on. I wrote, the reality is, as I stated in this video, they want to take away our guns so they can take away our freedom. All of these events are planned by the deep state, including the murder of 17 innocent people at Parkland in Florida. Nicholas Cruz is a patsy. He was selected to take the fall. All of what was posted about him was done intentionally to support their claim that Cruz did it. The timeline, along with eyewitnesses, clearly states otherwise. The hit was done by a professional kill team that are void of all normal emotions to be able to shoot to death innocent children. Folks, there's just too much evidence that proves what I just stated. Just take a look at what Stacy Lippel, that's L-I-P-P-E-L, has to say when she was doing a live interview on 60 Minutes. They didn't expect her to say what she said. Another viewer wrote, you're absolutely right. They have got to take away our guns because guns do equal freedom. I only made the point about cell phones because to me, there's a lot more dangerous and are responsible for more deaths than guns. Now here's an interesting comment from one of the viewers that woke up a while ago. He wrote, it's something that almost no one can wrap their mind around. Have you heard me say that before? That forces within our government, yes, our own government, have done and continue to do these mass murders and false flag events for their own benefit and for our detriment. I was such a person, a real mocker of conspiracies, government, until I slowly came out of my trance. Mine was not a real red pill moment, but a gradual awakening to the fact of the dark forces of this world. I don't know when the final straw for me came, but it was shortly after the 9/11 event. On that day, I knew something wasn't quite right, as my nephew, who was starting a new job that day at the World Trade Center, related to me that as he was coming off the escalator at 9:02 a.m., he saw great destruction on the ground floor of the building. Eventually, it dawned on me that it wasn't planes that took the building down. In fact, I knew it on that day, but digesting that fact took some time. Folks, the reality is that the American people have a very difficult time accepting the fact that our government could do this. But if you listen to my videos, if you listen to the comments that I've made, Roosevelt knew that the Japanese were coming to Pearl Harbor. They actually baited. There's documentation that I've posted other videos on where our government baited the Japanese. They knew they were going to attack. Roosevelt allowed 2,500 plus Americans to be murdered to get the support of the American people behind that effort. Roosevelt had started gearing up for war 2 years before Pearl Harbor. Lyndon B. Johnson took us in to the Vietnam War with the false flag of the Gulf of Tonkin. George W. Bush and George H. Bush took us into their own wars in the Middle East. George W. Bush took down the Twin Towers with the help of Dick Cheney and a whole lot of other members of his inner circle. Barack Hussein Obama set the Middle East on fire. If it wasn't for what he and Hillary did, there never would have been an ISIS. The thing's insane. This country requires a war to fuel the industrial military complex. And that's what they've done for the last 17 years with the takedown of the Twin Towers. Listen to what this man said. His nephew was there at 9:02 coming down the escalators, and he saw the devastation occurring at the ground floor. It was all done by design. And now they're doing it again. They're killing innocent little children so they can take away our Second Amendment rights. They've already taken away my First Amendment rights. If it wasn't for Nick of Indigo Swift, I wouldn't be able to talk to you. You wouldn't have a clue as to the messages that I needed to send out. It couldn't have happened without Nick and without Aaron, who provides the server. Folks, you need to accept reality. Nothing happens by accident. It's all done by design. That's sort of what I think. I want to thank my viewers for taking the time to comment. They know who they are. I'm glad that some of them are waking up to reality. You need to pass this along to your like-minded friends. They need to listen to what I say in that video. Ask Congress to stop pissing up the wrong tree. It isn't guns, folks. That's just a ruse to take away our freedom. Thanks for listening.